because you can be walking down a long hallway, pass through double doors, walk through about 10 feet, stop, turn. You see the double doors you just walked through.
So listen, guys just thinking it's the 5th of November, right? And got a lot of gunpowder in the Parliament building is just right over there. You know, in that
Well, howdy, nearly senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this brand new day. Well, hokey smokes, they're still coming in again today to continue to do work on the housemate's bathroom. They've got most of the bathroom done. They haven't even started downstairs yet, so we'll see how that goes. You know, everyone's taking off, and I'm going to be alone here again, which is fine. You know, I don't mind, so thumbs up on that. I actually slept really well. I went to bed around 11:30 last night, and I was close to 5 before I woke up, so I actually slept pretty well for me. Definitely a thumbs up. And outside, it's gray. It's not going to be too hot. It will be warm. It's summer, not too hot, so hey, altogether things aren't looking too terrible. So here's hoping. Well, itchy upper lip. And of course, hey, if you could toss me a like, that'd be very cool. If you could subscribe to the channel, that'd be awesome. If you could leave me a comment, that would be very, very cool. And I would like to thank each and every one of my Patreon patrons. These literally beautiful and literally awesome people that are, in fact, as stated, literally beautiful and literally awesome. They help to keep me and my pets alive, and I appreciate that to no end. Without their help, we would be hosed like Christmas monkeys, which is to say, well, I'd be homeless and then not alive much longer after that. So thank you, each and every one of those beautiful people. If you would like to become a beautiful person, there are links to the Patreon in the video description, as well as a link to a PayPal. And if you'd like to help me out without sending any money at all, there's links to an Amazon wishlist link with stuff like cat food. So thumbs up. And hey, how about that? Also, a quick spider report. Not a ton of spiders on this side of the room. I can sort of see one up in the upper corner back there. But all in these corners in the back, there are lots of tiny body gangly leg spiders. So very, very cool. Oh, and the other day when I was going to take a shower, because right now I'm still unable to get motivated to change this, when I just get my clothing that I have freshly washed out of the washer and dryer, I just keep it largely in the clean basket that it comes into. Well, when you do that, things like spiders get into your clothes if you don't put them away, if they're not folded. So I was bringing out a towel, and I picked it up, and I was looking at it, and there was this fat body, tiny leg spider going, ooh, across the towel. Well, a couple years back, when I was deeply arachnophobic, I probably would have freaked out heavily about that. I'm not arachnophobic anymore. I don't know what happened or why, but I'm not frightened of spiders. And so I looked at it, and did I freak out? Well, no. I just went, oh, shake to knock it down onto the floor. I didn't want to kill the spider. I just didn't want it on the towel. And then folded it up to use, and then got my stuff together to go and take a shower. So that's a big change for me. So thumbs up on that. Anyway, though, it has been warm. I kept all the lights off all day here yesterday after I finished recording the various things I had to record. And oh boy, I'm glad I did, because even now, even though it's cooler, I am too warm with the lights on and the door shut to keep noise down. It is that I overheat so quickly. And it's not like I'm hugely heavy like I used to be. It's just I apparently right now, for whatever reason, just continue to hang on and conserve heat, even though I don't have a lot of fat to hold it in anymore. Why? Dunno. But there you go. Yay. So I played video games yesterday, recording Turbo Overkill. I had Daggerfall all ready to go. It was loaded up and ready to play, and I was getting ready to just start recording, and I went, you know what? I do know how to get past that spot in the blue key before, because I had tried recording the other day and then couldn't find the blue key, got intensely frustrated and just stopped, deleted all the recording stuff. But then because I remembered, hey, I do know how to get past that spot. So that's why I went on to record Turbo Overkill, because I think that's a bloody awesome demo. Oh my gosh, what a good game. So hopefully after this, I got a video today for Turbo Overkill and then back to Daggerfall tomorrow. So that'll be good. But I've played some video games, and there's others that I want to go back and replay. Periodically, I load up the game Astro Near. They've been making that game since forever. I started playing it back when I lived in my brother-in-law's garage. I can't even remember when I moved out of there, 2017. But they've been working on that game, and now they're adding rail to it, so you can have rail lines. So I'm glad that they keep working on it. It's a good thing. I mean, they treated me dirty, but that's life. I told the story how as an influencer, they said, hey, we're going to send you a package of this stuff to influencers because you play our game, and that's cool, and then could you please make stuff of videos about that? And lots of people did their videos, and I never got my stuff, and I said, hey, I never got my things. And they said, oh, we'll send you another package, and then ghosted me. So that felt good. But still, the game has gotten better because they made changes. They did this, that, and the other. And I disliked entirely what they were doing because it was like a lot of retro stuff that was... retro as in, we're making it so it's not as good. And so it was really rough and awful compared. And so I gave up and have come back to it periodically. They've made changes, and that's good. I've been listening to music. That's a good thing. Everyone needs to do that. I like the band as well, Typo Negative, especially their album Bloody Kisses, which I think is a masterpiece album, just like, emo, goth, punk. Unfortunately, the lead singer at age 48 passed away within the past couple of years, and that's unfortunate. But still, you do what you can. And of course, I went walkies and tried to think as best I could, but with my med changes and my ADHD stuff and everything that's happening, pressures of just living in the United States as well as just living in this world, but dealing with everything that's happening in the household and such, I'm being as creative as possible, but without the meds to help me out and with all these pressures, I'm doing as best I can, but not perfect. But it's always good to go walkies. You need to have the physical exercise. That's definitely a thumbs up right there. Past that, just surviving, and that's a good thing. Again, trying to be as creative as possible. So I'm going to spend some time, the rest of this time, talking about the whole creative stuff here. Because on the cryptid side of the setting of the inside-outside razor's edge, I don't know what's going on with this hand, but there you go. On the whole cryptid side of the inside-outside razor's edge, I have mentioned that with the department, the building itself has what I call a Dunning field. A generated field that affects you. And if you can think of the department as something that is concrete rather than abstract, there is a connection between you and it, so that if you start thinking bad things, it causes interference on this connection, and you get hit with your own personal Dunning field to bring the interference down, and that just coincidentally erases what you're thinking about. Because the Dunning field is generally like being in a dream. It turns off your rememberer by 90%, just like when you're dreaming. So you can't remember stuff. And because it drives your brainwaves down halfway into sleep, most of them, but not all, you're in a more dreamlike state. You can't make critical judgments. You can't make critical thought. You can't think properly. Your rememberer is turned off. You can see the weirdest, most bizarre stuff, and 5 minutes later, you've forgotten it. Or else it's just oh yeah, I remember that. Wasn't that a couple years ago? And I talk about how the department itself is confusing on the inside, part of that is indeed because it's very fluid on the inside. It's never really the same. But at the same time, that dunning field hits you hard. Because you can be walking down a long hallway, pass through double doors, walk through about 10 feet, stop, turn. You see the double doors you just walked through. But you've forgotten, and you're like, oh my God, where did the door come from? I don't recognize any of this. How am I supposed to find my way back? Well, yeah, the place is fluid, but at the same time, you can't even remember where you're going. The department is rough that way. And of course, there is no in-story, in-universe name for this effect. I have to give it the meta name outside of the story name of the dunning field. Because in the story, nobody knows that this effect is happening. Because if you think about it, the field drives the thoughts out of your head. And it's not like you're just being smashed to the ground and things being forcefully driven out of your skull. It's much, much more subtle than that. Have you ever been walking or bike riding, or if you're older and you drive a car, you've been driving a car and you get to your destination and you realize you can't remember even driving to get there? And it's not like you've had a psychotic episode or anything. People do this. You space it out. You go, oh, I've been driving. I'm here. I don't remember any of it. That's effectively what happens when you're hit with a dunning field. Your body can still do what it needs to do. You can still drive and make driving decisions. You can still be typing a report and doing your typing decisions. But anything that requires you to actually think clearly is gone. Because that dunning field is driving down the interference, the particular thoughts that you are having. You can't think critically about that. You can't think clearly. You can't remember what you were thinking about. The rest of your body is fine. You're still driving. You're still walking. You're still doing what you have to do. But mentally, you're not going, gosh, why was I having trouble? Mentally, you're going, I got a lighter. I got a lighter. It's a lighter. So the dunning field is very powerful, very effective, and because of that, nobody knows it's happening. Because if you think about it, no, you're not. So the department is fun. Also, the department is fun because there are all sorts of things that are designed to drive you absolutely insane. Because after all, there's only one legend and one place that tells you where you are and how to get places. And none of the plaques that go up on walls are thereby listed by anything normal. But you may see Department of Child Services and Department of Human Health and Department of whatever. And this one, it'll be designated by a symbol of a gray archway. And then this one is designated by a slightly smaller arch, but it's the same color. And this one is designated by the same size arch, but it's a slightly different shade of gray. And they don't put names on anything. When you get to halls, it's just a whole bunch of the plastic little arches in their various shapes, sizes, and colors. So if you can't remember what is what, you're going to end up having to ask for help a lot. And of course, it has a ground floor, as mentioned before, a first floor, second floor, and there's a basement. Which, of course, if you're generally on those floors, you may entail some, that's not the right word, but I didn't want to get stuck. You may take some minor temporal damage, even if you stick on those areas, because the department is rough and everyone hates it. You're only going to lose 1 to 3 hours maximum. As if you end up on floor 3 or sub-basement 1, you're going to take moderate temporal damage. You may lose up to or including more than a week. It's if you get on floor 4 or sub-basement 2, you're going to be taking severe temporal damage. You're going to lose 1 to 6 weeks of time. And if you ever get to floor 6 or sub-basement 3, no one's ever going to see you again. That also happens with hallways. The actual building itself is only 2/3 of a block long. So if you're walking along in halls that are only 2/3 of a block long, you're fine. You may not notice it if suddenly the corridors you're walking through are a block, a full city block in size. But if so, you're going to be taking moderate temporal damage. If they're up to 1.5 blocks long, you're going to be taking severe temporal damage. And if you ever walk into a corridor that's a full 2 blocks or longer, no one's ever going to see you again. No one's ever going to see you again. And it's not always a dramatic way to go, of course. Remember that one of the deaths that I would like whoever the protagonist is of this particular thing is they enter a small vending area where there is a vending machine with snacks and a vending machine with drinks, and there's a couple benches. They got the receded lighting up near the ceiling, and over in the corner sitting on one of the couches is a dead guy. And he's not a dead guy that's new. He's a dead guy that's been there a very, very long time. No insect activity, but partially decayed and then dried and mummified from the air conditioning and such, and then partially chewed by rats and just left there. This poor human corpse, a guy who came in, took a seat and died. And the thing is, it's not that this person was ignored, because next to the corpse's feet are the indents on the carpet where the vendor who comes in to restock the machines and inspect those sets the product. And they've been just setting it next to the corpse for, well, if you check the inspection things on the side of the machine, well over 10 years. And the body itself, again, mostly chewed by rats, but it's not like the body's just ignored. The wallet that the guy had is open, empty, and just tossed on the corpse's lap and covered in dust. So that happened, well, years ago, and hasn't been touched since. So yeah, you may dramatically vanish, or you could just sit down and who knows, you have a heart attack or a stroke and you pass away, and then nobody tells anybody. That's the bad part about that one. No one tells anyone, so no one on the outside knows it's happened. You just went to your appointment like that guy, and well, no one ever sees you again, and they don't know why. Yeah, that poor fella. Poor anybody that has to go to the department. But that's fun. And I've opened up 24 hours worth of comments in my community tab. I hope, and I'm going to go through and hopefully thank however many people have left me comments in the past 24 hours. If I mispronounce the username, no disrespect is intended. And even though I count American Sign Language, well, you've already seen how my brain works, which is to say, J-A-Y-Y, good to see you again. I read before your comment when you were going into survival mode. Hopefully you are doing better, and I am at least alive, and that's a good thing. Jesse Koskinen, always good to see you in the comments, my friend. And I don't mean to whine when I talk about things, but thank you very, very much. We have Lee Thomas, thumbs up and thank you. Loco5, I sincerely hope that you did enjoy my playthrough of I forgot the name already. Turbo Overkill. That's a bloody awesome game. Steezus Christ, thumbs up and thank you. Chris Browning, greatly appreciated, thumbs up. We have Ben B, always good to see you in the comments as well. There is Floramu, thumbs up. It is good to see you in the comments. Thank you very, very much. Greatly appreciated and good to see you. We have Adrian, thumbs up. Thank you very, very much. And let me see, that is it. 9 people who left me comments in the past 24 hours. Thumbs up and thank you. You get me out of my head and into the world and dealing with real people, if only in text and if only for a short time. But it is appreciated. So I'm going to be doing what I can to keep myself safe and sane while everything's happening. Maybe I'm going to make some phone calls today. I'm going to definitely make the effort. Hokey smokes. And hopefully you can get done the things that you can need to get done. And if you can't, survival mode is important. Try again tomorrow. And of course, with the covfefe bug a-raging, getting stronger and surging here in the US, and of course people just going, what? Masks? I'd rather die than wear a mask. And I'm at that point now where it's just, okay then, go die and let the rest of us be okay. So please, don't throw your corpse onto the end-of-life corpse pile sooner than you have to. Don't be one of those that I just miss with, alright then, just go die then. Be smart. Be alive. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side, and that is a very good thing.